We were desperate for a result in Europe to reach the knockout rounds. So starting the game like this definitely helped. Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Sammy Plays. We've come through the Christmas period, absolutely destroying everyone in front of us, but now this is where things get serious. We've got the final two group games of the Champions League phase, and if we want to continue our run in Europe, we need results. The January transfer window is also still open, so we'll be keeping an eye out for potential deals while still trying to hold on to our biggest players. So, let's get into it. And a first potential deal that we'll be looking to bring in this episode is going to be Willy Cambola. I'm going to try and get him on loan. I've used him on other saves, and on other saves I've actually seen him turn into an absolute superstar. On one of my other ones, he was very good, but not quite like top level. But with this one, I just thought we needed a little bit of reinforcements at centre-back. And we've obviously got a couple of youngsters there, so I think he could be a real asset bringing him in. And it seems like he's out of favour at Villarreal at the moment. So we'll see if we can get that one done as we get the offer accepted, which is good to see. And yeah. Hopefully, he can come in and do the business, as we have sold Jack Mill now. I say sold, we got absolutely nothing for him, but he has gone. He wasn't playing at all, so we decided to let him go because I think his contract was actually up at the end of the season anyway. So, yeah, he's gone. I did make another contract offer for John Duran. We already had one rejected by him, but I was being quite firm on what we were actually offering him. As yeah, considering he was a free agent, he still wanted the moon to come and play for us, and that considering like he would have just been another option for us and not like a guaranteed starter with. I mean, he could have been, but I just didn't want to give him everything he wanted. Like clearly, people weren't knocking down his door trying to get him in. The fact that he was still a free agent, and we've been looking at him for weeks now, so. Again, he wanted too much, and yeah, we end up getting rejected with what we offer, so it looks like he's not coming after all. The first game of the episode is going to be against Queen of the South, and we rotate the squad a little bit in this one, not quite so much as previous games in the early rounds of the Scottish Cup, but we do throw a couple of youngsters in, and we get off to a flyer. Well, Redondo thinks he does, but unfortunately, no VAR in this one, just a straight flag raised, and the goal is ruled out. No messing. But we do eventually get a goal in the 23rd minute with Lazatic firing home to give us a 1-goal lead, and we never look back from here, as you'd probably expect, to be honest. As in the 40th minute, we add a second, Mitchell Frame crossing it to the far post, and Redondo does get his goal after all, putting us 2-0 up. Before, right on the stroke of half-time, we add a third. Redondo getting involved again, playing it to Balalovic. He pulls it back, and Lazatic getting his second goal of the game to make it 3. We get a fourth in the 63rd minute. Keskinen going down the left, crossing to the far post again, and Balalovic getting a goal this time. He'll be delighted, as he certainly hasn't played too much for us this season. And Queen of the South actually did pull one back prior to this chance here. This was just another one to get them another consolation, but a good save from Vitek stops it. But they did pull one back, and I was on the substitution screen, so we never actually saw it, which is why I've not included it for you. And yeah, Lazatic getting the praise from that one. I mean, it was a game that we should be winning, and yeah, good little stat pad for him as he gets 2 goals. Vitek's developing concerns, which is the problem that I've had now with having 2 pretty good goalkeepers. Obviously, we brought him in initially as Charles was injured, so we're kind of having to rotate between the two of them. And to be fair, both of them have been pretty good for us this season. So we'll see what happens here. We'll just give him a little bit of game time, and hopefully Charles doesn't kick off too much. And this is where we're currently sitting before we play our final 2 Champions League phase games. We are 22nd, so we are in position to go through. But we're going to need a result to guarantee that, because certainly there's going to be teams around us that are going to pick up points. Onto the Cambola deal, it has gone through, and the board giving us an E for it, considering it's a loan signing, I think is pretty hilarious. I didn't do a full scouting of him before we got him in because I knew he was certainly capable for us, and you can see he's got good tackling, but more importantly, he's got really good physicals. So Hopefully, he can do the business for us, and it does say 6 million transfer fee, but I think that's including potential future transfers. And what's hilarious is that Pujic is concerned that he's going to lose game time when every time I play Pujic, I get a message saying that he's jaded and can do the rest. But, yeah, mate, I'll just keep playing you and play you into the ground, shall I? But on to the first of those super important Champions League group games. Well, not group games, league phase games. We play Sporting Lisbon, and I was not ready for this as we go 1-0 up in the opening 10 minutes. Kamara, the left back, getting a goal before we quickly added another in the 16th as Leonardo pulls it back to Jimenez, plays a 1-2 with Awa and shoots from distance across goal, shooting into the bottom corner, giving us a very early 2-goal lead before 3 minutes later we add a third as Awa, great effort from him, unfortunately hitting the post, but an easy tap in for Leonardo as he gets the rebound to make it 3. And then 29th minute, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Renato Sanchez, the former Benfica man, getting a goal against his former rivals in Sporting Lisbon to make it 4. And we end up waiting a little while for the next goal as the 5th goal comes in the 68th minute as Renato Sanchez gets his 2nd of the game. So I couldn't believe what I was seeing, honestly. 5-0 up against Sporting Lisbon. They are bottom of the league phase, and they did eventually pull one back in the 88th there, but 5-1 against pretty much a very solid opposition. Quite surprising. And it didn't end there, as we actually got a 6th, thanks to an own goal from Inacio in the 89th minute, literally a minute after they've actually pulled one back. Yeah, quite the result, and it'll certainly help us in our pursuit of getting knockout round football in the Champions League. And just like I mentioned about Pujic, he's played a game and is in need of a rest. He doesn't need to worry about his Champions League place because obviously we can't register Kambwala yet anyway, so he's certainly still going to be playing there. Leonardo on form, that chat certainly seems to be well and truly in the past as he has been absolutely cooking since we spoke to him and since he got over that injury, of course, as well. As now we play our second biggest rivals in the league, playing Rangers, and this one I thought I'd speed the start up for you as we actually go ahead straight from kickoff. Diaby getting it down the right hand side, pulling it back to Jimenez. He goes past his man, plays it to Renato Sanchez, and he gets his 3rd goal in a week to put us 1-0 up inside 37 seconds against Rangers. We wait another 15 minutes for the 2nd though, as Awa puts us 2-0 up. And we are absolutely flying this season. We are so far ahead of the other two. It's actually quite crazy. We've made a couple of obviously key signings, but I'm not sure. It feels like we've been working towards this for the last 3 seasons. So it's good to see it finally coming to fruition. As we are certainly looking strong, and I think a disaster would be the only reason we don't win the league now. As we actually go pretty close again right on the stroke of half-time as Lazatic hits the post. Before we finally do add a 3rd and round the game off in the 84th minute as Diaby goes past his man with a great solo effort as he bends it into the far corner and wraps up the 3 points in a nice little bow for us. Kambwala makes his debut in that game. I probably should have pointed that out, but yeah, nice little clean sheet for him on his debut, which is obviously things you love to see. And then Keskinen is developing concerns, quite like the Vitek thing, where we've obviously got quite a good number of very strong wingers. So he's kind of missed out, but yeah, we'll just rotate him back in and certainly try and sort that out as he's been one of our best players so far over this save. We also got an offer for Bilalovic, so we thought it's best to let him go and we'll take the money for him as he wasn't playing anyway. Right, on to the last game of the league phase as we play Red Bull Salzburg away from home. And I expected a win here, I can't lie. Out of the Red Bull teams, Leipzig is the one that you'd be more worried about playing. And we ended up actually going 1-0 down inside 39 minutes. It's got the Aberdeen badge next to Diakite. I'm not sure why that is. But it was actually their player that put them in front. And they were very strong, coming close multiple times to extending that 1-goal lead before eventually We did pull one back in the 66th minute from Marcus Leonardo. Great play from Jimenez there. And then I was making some substitutions, and this seems to be happening quite regularly now. Every time I'm making a sub, somebody seems to score against us. And fortunately, though, we do have the replay as Redsic. I mean, it was all from the winger, that one, before he actually scores again to put Salzburg 3-1 up. But thankfully, as you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, it's not going to make a difference as we do qualify for the next round. Thank the Lord, as we go through in 21st place. And now another man that I've probably just not really started playing since their injury, because I think this has happened with quite a few of them, where I've not played them because of their match sharpness and whatnot, and then it's ended up with them coming back and moaning about their game time. So not a problem though. He will get game time. He's a massive signing for us at the start of this season, so we will certainly throw him back in. One of the games we're going to need him for is the next round of the Champions League, as we have drawn Benfica, Renato Sanchez's former club, in the playoff rounds. I think it is. I think it's the playoff knockout round. So yeah, certainly one that I think that we could potentially progress through. So we'll see how we get on in the next episode for that. But back to the league now, as we play Dundee away from home. And yeah, another easy win for us here as we go 1-0 up inside 5 minutes. Renato Sanchez cooking there, pulling it back for Cullen, and he scores a tap-in before in the 30th minute. Pretty much the same again, but from the opposite side. This time Carvalho to Martin Bernblad, and the youngster scores another goal to give us a 2-goal lead before we score a third in the 51st minute as Carvalho gets one of his own. Pretty fortunate with how it come to him there, but he certainly won't complain, and neither will we as we go 3-0 up. Dundee did look at getting one back right towards the end, but I mean, I thought it was a great challenge from Kamara, but it was given as a penalty. But I think that's about 4 or 5 times this season we have saved another penalty to keep the clean sheet as we take all 3 points. But unfortunately, what you didn't see in that was Carvalho actually went off injured, and he looks to be out now for probably the rest of the season, as he's going to be out for 2 months with a stress fracture of the foot, which is certainly not ideal. And yeah, Kamara went off after giving that penalty away, and it turns out he's just got bruised ribs for a couple of days. As we get a few players in team of the week in Cullen, Sanchez, Carvalho, Pujic and Vitek, so that'll be Carvalho's last name in team of the week for a while. And our other player who usually plays off the right wing, Diaby, has actually got player of the month. So we have certainly got someone capable of stepping in for Carvalho with that injury. Hopefully, Keskinen can do the same on the other side, as we're going to need him for those games in Europe. The final game of the episode, we have another Scottish Cup fixture. Another one that we certainly expect to win, and certainly one that we didn't expect to concede against in the first 20 seconds. Pollock, I don't think I've actually heard of these, and I lived in Scotland for 10 years of my life, so yeah, we instantly pull one back though in the 4th minute as Lazatic scores before Keskinen scores an absolute worldie, bending one into the top corner, and yeah, I think conceding that early goal certainly sparked some life very quickly into our team as we end up going 4-1 up as Morgan Gibbs-White pulls it back to Keskinen there. Yeah, 4-1 up in 22 minutes. Yeah, that first goal in 20 seconds certainly awoken the beast as we make it 5 in 30 minutes before finally adding the 6th in the 72nd as the cross to the far post, and Finlay Marshall, our youngster, caps off the performance with a goal to give us a 6-1 win. And yeah, Keskinen is the one getting the praise, which is fair enough after that first goal he scored was an absolute worldie, to be fair. So pretty happy with that. Good to see that he's come straight in doing the business for us after complaining about his game time. So hopefully that continues in the more important games. And then one last thing before we go, we do have the squad registration for Europe, and we've obviously got quite a list there of players that can't play. So we do make a couple of changes in this, and I took obviously Carvalho out because of the injury, but I ended up actually taking Cullen out as well and putting Martin Bernblad in, simply because he's just been better for us this season. So, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have space to get Cambuala in as well, but hopefully this squad can do the business for us as we play Benfica in the next round. So, despite losing to Salzburg, that win over Sporting was enough to get us over the line and into the next round of the Champions League. And domestically, we've been cooking as well, beating all of our biggest rivals, and it's going to take something pretty disastrous for us to not win the league from here. The squad's looking stronger every episode, and some of those new signings are really starting to shine. And with Benfica next in the Champions League, it's certainly not getting any easier. But that's going to do it for today's episode of the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge. If you've enjoyed the video, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.